from beautiful Berkeley, California. It is time for a Pac-12 opener and Bay Area rivalry matchup between 4th-ranked Stanford and the California Golden Bears. Welcome inside of Haas Pavilion. Thanks so much for being here alongside the former Washington State setter, Nicole Rigoni. I'm Kylan Mills. The Cardinal, a roster full of veterans, really good in the serve and pass game, one of the best teams in the country, while the Golden Bears come in with a lot to prove, but they're 11-0 in non-conference play, so bringing in a lot of confidence and momentum. What are you expecting in this matchup?
Well, what's so exciting is both these teams starting conference play are 0-0. So there's a lot of excitement on both ends. Obviously, Stanford's ranked 4th in the country. They are a fantastic team, but Cal has something to prove. They have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to come out swinging, and it's going to be an exciting match just because it's a rivalry game.
A player to watch swinging, by the way, Cal freshman outside Maggie Lee leads the team with more than 4 kills per set. What stands out about her game?
She is their go-to hitter, and she is by far their most powerful hitter, and she's been moving the ball around, and she's somebody that is going to see a lot of balls tonight, and if she gets hot, Stanford could be in a little bit of trouble.
Talk about the ability to adjust to the collegiate game. Lee has had no problems doing that. Now for Stanford, outside Katie Baird, coming off a season-high 23 kills against Louisville. What makes her so powerful?
She is one of the best outside hitters in the country. Her game is so complete. She can score from the back row, the front row, and really find any angle on the court, no matter what defense it is. And tonight you're going to be able to see one of the best players in the country, and I'm super excited to watch her.
The Stanford roster just loaded with talent. Now the Cardinal own the all-time series against Cal, 83-13, but the Golden Bears, they're looking to protect their home court in this one. First serve coming up in just a couple moments here on Pac-12 Networks. Beautiful evening across the East Bay and a perfect night for a Bay Area rivalry matchup. The big spike coming up here on Pac-12 Networks. It's the 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal traveling across to the East Bay to face the California Golden Bears, who are coming in off of one of their best starts to a season in a long time at 11-0 in non-conference play. Nicole Rigoni and Kylan Mills here with you. Appreciate you being here on Pac-12 Networks. The Cardinal have come in with one of the toughest non-conference schedules. I mean, when you look at just some of the results they've been able to produce here early in the season, how difficult is it to start out going up against ranked teams?
Well, Kevin Hambley did that on purpose. He was trying to emulate the tournament, meaning the NCAA tournament in December, right away so they could get a taste of some of the best teams in the country and see where they stack up. And to be quite honest, they did a phenomenal job trying to figure out, okay, where do we need to go? What do we need to get better at? And right now, this focus during conference play is all about getting better, all about getting ready for December. They are so focused on that national title. He goes, I'm not playing for a conference championship, I'm playing for a national title. So that preseason schedule was absolutely on purpose.
The Cardinal are laser focused on the end of the season and a couple of strong results in those non-conference battles as well. You just saw coming off that 3-2 win over 2nd-ranked Louisville, just outstanding. Look at some players to watch. Mentioned it in the open, but this Stanford lineup loaded with talent. One that stands out is Cami Minor, a setter who also just has a lot of power. What makes her so dynamic in this attack?
From the moment she's gotten onto this campus to now being a senior, she is just solid. Before, she was kind of figuring out, you know, offensive schemes and getting used to the Stanford way of doing things. Now she's in her 4th year. She's setting at a very high level, and she's able to make decisions and put players like Kendall Kipp in the best situations and not just rely on the big guns.
Minor coming in 6th in the country, averaging nearly 11.3 assists per set. First serve, getting ready to get this matchup underway. Mater puts it in play. Little back set, touch over the block, kept alive, nice dig. There's a hit off the block. Stanford in system, big swing. Does end up finding that back line. Took a touch as well. So Stanford starts out with a side out. First point in this rivalry matchup. Aaliyah Rubin now stepping back to the service line. The sophomore outside out of Brentwood, California. The Stanford team serves extremely well. Lee. Oh, what a save there. Rubin keeps it in play. Free ball over. Lee again. Met with the block. Kept alive though. Lee will try it again, this time cross court. Baird. Touch over the block, successful.
The elite level of defense that Elia Rubin was able to keep on the Stanford side was just a special play, and that's just the second point of the match. She's playing like she's already completely heated up.
And then Baird getting the finish so crafty, can get it done in a couple of different ways, using power, using the off speed. Oh, what a kill by Lee. Up off her seat there is head coach Chrissy Jones-Shunderword. She was fired up after that one.
Maggie Lee has a really quick arm too. That hole was barely there, and at the last second she was able to find it and score.
The freshman just outstanding on the season. Now she goes back to the service line. Out of the back row, Kip gets it done.
Watching Kip out of the back row has to be one of my favorite assets that she has in her game. She makes it look so smooth and she's ready, and the tempo is so fast between her and Cami Minor that it's basically a front row attack.
Now when coming out of the back row, what is the differences in the approach versus the front row?
Well, that's a great question. Well, you can't attack in front of the 10-foot line as the back row. And if you're running a really quick offense like Stanford is, they're trying to keep the tempo of the set as high as the antenna as a back row attack. So it's not very high. It's almost like a first tempo ball, just a little bit higher. So you have to be on your second step as a back row attacker.
It's just interesting because Kip is so good out of the back row.
There she goes again.
Now here comes Kip. Baird off the block, sent right back. This time she goes cross court, gets it over the block. Out of the back row is Lee. Little off-speed shot, finds the court, and the crowd is going wild here at Haas.
Awesome to see how much support they have for the volleyball team, especially now that they're 11-0 coming into conference play. And this back row attack from Maggie Lee is awesome. Just changing it up a little bit. Little off-speed, keeping Stanford on their toes.
Hard serve. Oh, kept alive. Big swing, but it does go out, so it will be a side out for the Cardinal. But so far, this California team looks fearless. That's one thing that stands out to me, is the fact that Coach Shunderwood said, we fear nobody, and we come into this believing we can play good volleyball as well.
That's what she wanted. She wanted them to respect the opponent and understand that they are very good, but hey, we're good too. We deserve to be on this floor just like they are. Let's go out there, let's play fearless and nothing to lose. And truly, Cal has nothing to lose. The last 2 seasons, they haven't won a conference game, so they're coming in here guns a-blazing, showing that they deserve to be on the same court, and we'll see what they can do.
So far, so good. Stanford does have the 2-point lead, but a couple of good-looking points for Cal here in the early going. Now Minor's back to the service line. Almost an overpass, but kept in play. Back to Kip. Kip off the block.
A very senior move by the senior opposite in Kendall Kip, finding that outside hand and using it even when there's space taken away on the block.
Kendall Kip, the reigning Pac-12 Player of the Year and a first-team All-American in 2022. Lee sets it up out of the back row. Baird somehow dug up there by Ogilvy. Touch off the block. Lee sends it out wide. Talma Payalpo.
One thing Chrissy had mentioned is that they were really working on their blocking at Cal, and that has really been something that's taken over, is that they're getting up at the net and being aggressive. And this last play, they're swinging again like they have nothing to lose. But the blocking has been key so far. That's very much catching Stanford by surprise.
Stanford forced to send over a free ball. What can Cal do with it? Cross-court shots, dug up. Kip, off the block. Nice dig there by Lee. Big swing out of Talmoy Payal. Another one. Oh, brilliant dig there by Rubin. Touch over by Baird. That one does take a touch, so it's going to be a point for California.
What a rally by Cal and Stanford. The defense is looking impeccable on both sides. I'm really impressed with the defense from Cal as well. And these hitters are not giving up in the front row.
Sam Talmoe Payao, really, really strong. That one also takes a touch there. So 7-5 Stanford, the score. Going back to the service line here is Katie Baird, the senior outside out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Missed the first couple matches of the season, but has since been in brilliant form. Preseason All Pac-12 Conference selection. Sends it over, but it's out of play. Now this Stanford team wants to serve aggressive. How many of those errors are you willing to give up in order to reap the benefits of the ace?
Well, you want a 2-to-1 ace to air ratio. That's where you want to hang out. And if you get less errors, great. You're probably winning that set. But definitely, that's a good air. When you miss it long, that's a good air. They have to make the decision. Cal could have easily played that ball, so that's a good air. When you miss him in the net, that's a different story. You wanna make good errors as a volleyball player.
Point to the Cardinal. Now going back to the service line is Elena Ogilvy. Ogilvy has 9 aces on the season. Fires one over, and it's another one long. Point for the Golden Bears.
And maybe not that long.
Okay, so that was a little bit too much.
That was a little
strong there.
Too much heat on it.
Ogilvy, though, second on the Stanford Cardinal with those 9 service aces. Overpass. Put down by Lee. Big point for the Golden Bears. Tie match at 8-8 here in the first set.
On the Stanford side, everything's been a little tight. I think they're a little shocked at how aggressive Cal has come out.
Serve put in play there by Disa. Kip. Big swing cross court.
That part of the court is always open on any defense in the country, and the fact that Kendall Kipp can hit at the level that she hits at, contacting the ball and able to just hammer it into the deep court, unstoppable anywhere in the country.
Kipp now at the service line. Lee, locked, kept in play. Lee again, touches it over. Stanford comes up with a big dig from Kipp. There's a little touch, kept alive. Nader tried to send that one over. Cal out of system, Lee denied.
One thing about a hitter that's as powerful as Maggie Lee, she's also going to get blocked just as hard. She's going to make great plays, but if you trap her in that situation, chances are she could be in trouble.
And Stanford has a big block as well. I know you mentioned you're excited to see Sammy Francis up in the front row involved in that last one. Out of the back row there, Taume Peau, and that one finds the court.
Speaking of Sammy Francis, gets a block and a kill. Kevin Hambley had mentioned that in transition, they really want to get their middles going so they can open up the offense for some of their big pins, and I would love to see Sammy Francis get very involved tonight.
Francis coming in with more than 2 kills per set, hitting nearly 400 on the season, and there's an ace. Took the Cardinal a minute, but they got one. And it's going to be a timeout called by the California Golden Bears. They now trail by 4 here in set number 1, but it's been a strong start overall for Cal.
I agree. Cal has come out very strong and putting pressure immediately on Stanford.
And we'll be right back in just a moment. Set number 1, 12-8, the Cardinal on top. It's the 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal in Bear territory. These Golden Bears fans have made their voices heard. It's a 12-8 lead for the Card. A timeout called by Cal, now looking to reset, get back to what the game plan was. That's something that Coach Underwood said. She wanted her team to keep the faith throughout this game. Do not steer away from the game plan, despite the brilliant points that Stanford would come up with. And there they get one, 13-8 now the score.
The game plan when you're playing against a team like Stanford is you have to be able to contain their best hitters because you're not going to stop them. That's just not happening. But you have to be able to contain them so where they're put in uncomfortable situations and they have to really step up their game because they are going to score their points. And if Cal can do that, they can put some points on the board.
Lee gets the kill after Stanford scrambled to try to keep it alive, unsuccessful. To your point, though, something that Coach Underwood did mention, trying to stop Kendall Kipp, not something that's going to be easy, but when Lee hits like that,
you just can't. Players like Katie Baird and Kendall Kipp, you're not going to stop them. You just have to slow them down and contain them to where they're hitting maybe 150 for a match, not going off and hitting 350.
Nice kill there for Aaliyah Rubin. Coming in averaging 334 kills per set on the season. leads the team with 10 service aces as well. She's now back to the line. Kisses the net. Back set. Slide. Kept alive. Kip out of the back row. Nice dig. Disa kept it in play, but there's a little miscue.
Elia Rubin, and I believe, is one of the smartest outside hitters in the Pac-12. A little undersized, but that doesn't matter. She's finding the high hands. She's a tough server, and she's a heck of a back row player.
Rubin in her sophomore campaign making significant strides at preseason all Pac-12 selection, and there's an ace for Elia Rubin. And the ball just almost knocks over our set and our table here courtside. Nicole was ready though, I'm telling you, hasn't lost a beat. There's hot hands over here.
Ready for that serve and ready for the shank.
Rubin back to serve again. This one kept in play. Lee. Nice dig. Oh, close call. Stanford does get it. Right on the line here, just on this right side. Well hit ball by Sammy Francis. Rubin will get another chance to serve. Stanford now starting to separate. 17-9 here in set number 1. Here's just a little touch over the block. Kip out of the back row again. Nice dig. Well done by Mater. Stanford keeps it alive. Cross court by Baird. Overpass. Joust. Cal somehow keeps the rally going. What a finish.
It's a mentality you have to have when you're Cal. You can't let anything drop. I love the effort from their players. Keeping the ball alive. Look at that pancake from Lee.
Beautiful pancake, and then they still had to climb over several players there on the ground, and somehow the Golden Bears not only keep the rally going, but win the point after that last shot just fell outside the line. Slide, another nice dig. Mater comes up with it. Taume Peau ends up falling just out. The Golden Bears with a little push here after going down at 17-9. They bring it to within 8 here in the first set. Going back to the service line is Lee. Sends it over. Go back set. Oh, hard hit ball by Francis. Sammy Francis, the junior middle blocker out of San Diego, California. Preseason all Pac-12 selection. Ranked second in the Pac-12 in blocks per set, 4th in hitting percentage in 2022. And here's Anna Pringle into the match to serve. Big swing, the dig, kept in play. Free ball over. Little back set, swing by Merton. Somehow, rally still going. Blocked by Cal, and it falls. Crowd once again going wild here at Haas. The Golden Bears just continue to scrap.
This is the blocking that Cal had been working on all week to be ready for a match like this against hitters like this, and they've done a good job of slowing down the ball against Stanford.
Jensen into serve. There's a crafty move for Miner.
That was very sneaky and a really good time to do it. They probably were thinking, oh, she hasn't done it yet, take a play off. And Cami Miner finds a way to put a sneaky tip down.
Miner now back to the service line. One thing that really stands out about her is the ability to choose those moments when to dump it over. Very, very crafty. Now there's a touch, but met with the block, put right back down. Miner will go back to serve again. Stanford now up 20-12. Miner, by the way, just the 3rd Stanford player to be named the Pac-12 Setter of the Year in 2022. Also a first-team All-American. Just outstanding. Nice dig. Touch off the block. Miner goes middle, and it's denied. What a block there by Michaela Hayden.
At times, the sets have been a little tight from Miner tonight, and this is that example. Just a little tight in front of that blocker for Cal. traps her a bit, didn't give her very many options, but a solid block from Cal.
Kayla Hayden outstanding there, the Buford, Georgia native, and there's one touchdown. Hayden, though, averaging more than 1 block per set, 40 on the season coming into today's match, which is second on the team. Now it's going to be a serve here for Stanford. They're up 21-13 in set number 1. Baird puts it in play. Overpass. Sent right back down. It'll be point for the Cardinals. Back to the service line once again is Katie Baird. All Pac-12, all region selection last season. 10th in the Pac-12 in points per set. Has come in and been excellent in this 2023 campaign as well. Big swing from Talma Payal, and she puts it down. Takes a touch, so that'll be a point for the Golden Bears.
I'm so impressed by the hitters tonight for Cal, how they are taking relentless swings, they're going after it, being aggressive, and Talma Payal tonight has been specifically very aggressive.
Talma Payal back to the service line. And it ends up being called in. It's an ace. It looked close. Falls on the line.
Got to follow it to the line. Age-old rule.
She'll get another chance here. Another nice serve. Kip sends it long, so it's going to be another point for the Golden Bears. Cal not going down without a fight here in set number 1. Talma Payal back to the service line once again for Cal. Senior out of San Diego, 5th in the Pac-12 with 153 kills. There's a big cross-court swing. Does fall out past this near corner.
Stanford just hairs away from the line with these swings.
A little bit of life here for Cal. 4-0 scoring run. Serve put in play. And there's a put down for Stanford. They finally get the side out.
McKenna Bacini looking for her first kill. Finally got it. She would be fun to get going tonight if they can put some more balls in both Sammy Francis and McKenna Bacini's vicinity.
Oh, what a serve. Just beautifully done by Elena Ogilvie. It's an ace.
Elena Ogilvie has a little bit of this side spin serve that she's developed over the years. And it's a very tough ball to pass when she gets a hold of it.
Received by the Golden Bears. Lee with some force. The freshman, fearless here in set number 1. You can see the intensity in her face too as she's celebrating with teammates.
A great set by Mater put her in a really awesome situation to have a hole in the block where she can just let it rip.
Little overpass, well done by Miner to keep that one over. Stanford takes set number 1. 25-18 the score. Cal, though, should walk away pretty happy here.
I think so. I think they should walk away happy and just go after it from the serving line and keep trying to get them out of system.
25-18 the score in set number 1. Set number 2 coming up here in just a couple moments on Pac-12 Network. Pac-12 Women's Volleyball is brought to you by Watch Sports. Find Pac-12 action and connect to Watch. Download the Watch Sports app from the App Store. Welcome back inside of Haas Pavilion, which is rocking for this Bay Area women's volleyball rivalry matchup. The big spike between 4th-ranked Stanford and the California Golden Bears, who come in at 11-0 in non-conference play, have brought a lot of confidence into this match. Nicole, you just mentioned, look at the stat sheet. The Bears are playing very well. What's been the difference that's given Stanford the edge in set number 1?
They aren't making as many errors. They're making some of those miraculous number 4 in the country type plays. Elia Rubin, her defense from the start, just set a tone on Stanford's side. Like, it doesn't matter who we're playing, I'm still going to play like we're number 4 in the country. And their blocking has been excellent. Cami Miner throwing in some of the dumps. both of them have played very solid, and I'm really impressed with Cal. If Cal can rattle off some miraculous plays themselves and maybe get their middles involved, they are becoming a little predictable with giving Maggie Lee every single ball. And she's a great hitter, but she can't carry the load against a team that has this many weapons. Somebody else has got to get hot, and it can't just be their outsides.
Sure, looking at the series history between these two teams, the last Pac-12 victory for Cal was against Stanford back in February of 2021, but you were saying you think they're going to win some matches in Pac-12 play this year. Much improved Cal side.
I really do. I think they have some weapons. I think they have some ball control within their libero. And I think they may surprise some teams in where they end up at the end of the year.
There's Kip getting a point out of the background. You just saw the series history. Stanford winning 19 of the last 20 between these two teams. But that February 2021 matchup, the Cardinal were also ranked. It was also played here at Haas, and Cal was able to put together an outstanding performance. Anything can happen, and this is a really much improved Cal team.
And not to mention, they are coached by an excellent former All-American and University of Washington player in Chrissy Jones. From playing against her, I know that she's not going to accept no wins in the Pac-12 without a doubt. I mean, she's a conference champion, so she knows what it takes.
Absolutely, and after that last little miscue by Stanford, Jones Shunderwood off the bench to cheer on her team. Now Lee to serve. That time the point goes to the Cardinal, but Jones Shunderwood, just the second player in NCAA history to earn All-America honors both in indoor volleyball and beach volleyball, competing at Washington and Cal Poly. That takes an expansive skill set to do on both separate surfaces. But what a big role she's taken on, named interim head coach just in late July before the season started.
I don't think people realize, obviously she's an All-American and she did get lots of awards, but the one thing about Chrissy is she was an outside hitter for them, she was a middle blocker for them, and she was a right side player for University of Washington as well. And she also played all the way around. There are not very many hitters that can do all of that and be successful in all of those roles. She is the perfect hitter for any program. You would want a Chrissy Jones on your team because if you have a hole, you can fill it with her, and she'll do it at an All-American level. Not very many hitters are able to do different positions. So her expertise in coaching these hitters is really going to be valuable in getting this program back to where it was.
It's amazing you mentioned that. I never looked it up. What's Joan Shunderwood's height? How is she able to play all the middles and outside? You know, my goodness.
She's just tall enough and just short enough.
Right. I love that. Stanford now up 4-1. That serve will go long.
And not to mention, the coaches she played for, Jim McLaughlin and Keegan Cook, are still mentors for her. And so she's in some fantastic company in trying to build this program and make it back to where some of the great years that Cal's had here.
It was interesting she mentioned that after Sam Crossan resigned back in late July, she received the interim head coaching job, but she's leaned into using the knowledge of a lot of those mentors.
Keegan Cook and Jim McLaughlin are two coaches that are top-tier coaches. Keegan obviously was at University of Washington before, now he's at Minnesota. Jim McLaughlin was at University of Washington for many years, went to Notre Dame and has won a national championship, and those coaches are legendary in this sport. Couldn't think of any better mentors to have.
Absolutely. Oh. Big dig by Cal. It does fall on the line. Golden Bears fired up, tied up at 4-4 here in set number 2.
Kevin Hambley pulling a replay card because he believes that was out. I thought it was out. What did you think?
It looked very close. That's what I'll say. Whatever the line judge says is what I go with. Nicole, you have that volleyball eye. I do not. It all happens at such a fast rate of speed.
Kevin Hambley said it really quickly too. He just pulled that card and was like, that's out. There's no way that was in. And when Kevin's pretty confident about something, I'm not gonna lie, I typically go with it. Oh, that was out. That was out. That looked out.
You paused there for a second.
For a second.
I don't know about that. Well, the replay being looked at now. We'll see what ends up being decided. But Cal tied up with Stanford here, 4-4 in set number 2. They put up a strong fight in set number 1, 25-18 the final score. How dangerous can it be if you're a Stanford team going up against a Cal team that literally has nothing to lose and literally is fearless? I feel like this could be a trap game.
You have a point. And they've been playing a very high level of volleyball, so sometimes when you're not playing as high of a level, there's a rhythm to the game when you're a top 25 team, and there's certain parts of it that make it predictable in a way. Cal is a little unpredictable, so they can throw them off their game. You are absolutely right, but as long as Stanford just plays the way they typically play, they should be in good company.
And the Cardinal are coming off of a massive win over second-ranked Louisville, the first time the program ever did that. A comeback win, 3-2. You mentioned you watched some of that. What stood out about the way Stanford, and the call was confirmed here, by the way, what stood out about Stanford's performance in that Louisville match?
They showed some grit, which is typically Stanford comes out and just dominates right away. I mean, one of my favorite career wins was against Stanford, and they weren't dominant right away. And so a lot of times they are very dominant and can just make you think that they're going to win right away and that the game's already over before it even started. So to have them come back and have a big win against Louisville like that, that just shows that this team has got some spunk.
Got some spunk, bouncing back after a loss to Nebraska as well, and then coming in and getting a gritty win like that certainly shows the resilience. But I feel like some of that also comes with the experience and having veterans on this team who know how to bounce back like that.
Absolutely. You were a college athlete, you know.
Yeah,
when
a little bit.
When you're a senior, you have a little bit more confidence and you don't freak out as much, and you're able to hone in even when things may be going awry. And that's what's special about this team and why they could make a big-time national championship run, is because of all this experience. They have all the pieces, and they're going to be really exciting to watch all season.
Sophia Johnson to serve here for Cal. Kip touching it over the block, but kept in play. This Cal team, relentless. There, they can't quite get underneath that one.
What I was talking about is some unorthodox defense happens at times on teams that just don't have maybe the exact talent that Stanford has, but if they can pull together that relentless defense and going up against the block like this and swinging as hard as they can, Cal can stay in it.
Baird with a hard serve. Free ball over. Minor ends up falling out. Set up Rubin, but she's not able to keep it in play. Cal gets the side out.
Elia Rubin is looking at herself like, where did that come from? Sometimes it happens.
Back to serve now is Tamoe Peao. Puts it in play. Too strong, so it's going to be point for the Cardinal.
Both teams are serving really tough right now. They're not just trying to keep the ball in play. Cal knows that when they get back to the serving line, if I'm going to put a lollipop serve over, we're going to get the ball shoved down our throat. So we have to go back to the serving line and go after it the same way we're going after it in the front row.
Now Cal is a team that actually their service aces per sets is 24th in the country. Been serving well. There's a little touch. Ends up being called point Stanford, or point Cal rather. Back to the service line here is Tara Disa, senior libero. Big hit from Sammy Francis.
I love the way Cami Minor threw in this set to Sammy Francis. It was a good pass, but she did force the middle a bit. And when you can get Sammy Francis in those situations, she's going to score. Those limbs are long. She's going to find some space on the court to put the ball.
It's an error for Kip. Side out for the Golden Bears. Francis standing at 6'6". San Diego native bringing quite a bit of height for the Cardinal, but now it's going to be a serve on the other side for Annalea Mader. The junior setter out of Basel, Switzerland. Sending it into play. Overpass. Kept alive, though, by the Card. Rubin met with the block. Stanford keeps it in play. Minor sends it over. Lee, blocked. Strong defensive play there for the Cardinal.
Sammy Francis next to Cami Minor in this rotation is really awesome too, because she's able to go behind the setter. She can run plays in front of the center, and she's one of the bigger blocks next to Cami Minor to make a very solid block with both of them at the net.
Rubin with the error. So the California Golden Bears tie up set number 2 at 9 apiece. Now back to serve is the fantastic freshman Maggie Lee. Beijing, China native, leads the team with 192 kills. Also has already earned Pac-12 Freshman of the Week honors several times this season. Baird. Dug up by Cal. Kept in play, but the overpass met with the block.
Head coach Chrissy Jones had mentioned how Maggie Lee has been such a great surprise for them. When they were watching film, they knew that she had reached out to a lot of different Pac-12 schools, but they didn't realize how good she really was going to be, and she's been a pleasant surprise for them, and now is their #1 hitter.
Baird touches it over. Nice dig. Back set. Touched over the block again. Baird. Cross-court shot way out. Big point for Cal. Lee, you just saw those 3 Pac-12 Freshman of the Week honors, the first player in program history to win Pac-12 honors in consecutive weeks, as well as the Bears' first 3-time Pac-12 Freshman of the Week recipient, making a splash across the conference. Minor, Kip out of the back row, big kill.
That is a huge swing by Kip. She was ready for it, and she was tired of the ball not getting put away. I love it. There's a little bit of attitude in this swing, too. Cammie knows who to go to get the job done.
Now going back to serve is Anna Pringle. 7 aces coming into this match. That one goes long. Merton tried to deliver. So still neck and neck here in set number 2. 11-11 the score. Going back to serve again is Anna Pringle, the sophomore of La Jolla, California. Played just 13 matches as a freshman. Big swing, but a great dig. Another big swing, blocked.
Fantastic block by Stanford. Watch Katie Baird and McKenna Bassini at the very last minute in red close that hole up so there's no room to get through on the Stanford Cardinal defense.
Baird off the block. Point Stanford. And the California Golden Bears head coach Chrissy Jones-Shunderwood is going to call a timeout as her Golden Bears now trail by 2 here in set number 2. Stanford won set number 1. We'll continue the action here in just a moment. The big spike underway here at Haas Pavilion. The Stanford Cardinal with a 2-point lead in set number 2 after taking set number 1. Anna Pringle, La Jolla, California native, up to serve again. Blocked and falls in play. Nicely done by the Cardinal. Katie Baird currently leading the card at 6 kills going into that play. Kip has 5. Sammy Francis 5 as well. Off the block, out of play. Successful sign out for the Golden Bears. For Cal, Maggie Lee leads the way with 6 kills. Sam Tamoe Peao has 6 as well, hitting .267. And that's the best hitting percentage on the Golden Bears side. Back set. Hard put down there from Bacchini.
Kevin Hambley has been wanting McKenna Bacchini to be able to go behind the setter, and that is a great swing for her. And it really is going to confuse the block on the other side because most of the time she is attacking in front of the setter. It's a solid kill from McKenna Bacchini and a big growth moment in her game.
Cal blocked. Big point for the card. Bacchini, Lexington, Kentucky native, was an all Pac-12 honorable mention selection last season. Led the Pac-12 with a .427 hitting percentage.
She's a workhorse as a middle. She's everything you would want in a middle. She's constantly up. She's trying to find the floor. And she closes blocks so well, just like that. I think she knows we're talking about her.
She must.
She's trying to show off a bit.
Broadcaster's jinx.
Yeah.
You're giving her good luck. Hard block, though, there by the Cardinal. They now have separated a little bit. 8 blocks in this match to 2 for Cal. And now they have the 17-12 lead. Little touch at the net. Point Stanford. Baird was right there ready for it.
The block that Stanford has right now between Kendall Kipp, Katie Baird, and McKenna Vicini is unbelievable. If you can
12, the Stanford lead now.
You better have your top hitters going up against their block, because that is a tough front row to go up against.
Certainly is. Now this California team coming off of a solid 3-1 win over Nevada. Golden Bears coming in at 11-0 in non-conference play. Their best start since their 2011 start to the season, where they had 13 consecutive wins. But something Coach Shunderwood mentioned is that in that match, her team showed grit, showed resilience. How important is it when it comes to the Pac-12 season to be able to grind like that? Because it's such a long season. There's so many talented teams in this conference. You have to have that don't give up mentality.
I mean, night in and night out, you're playing a team that can compete against any top 25 team in the country. And that's the hard part about playing in the Pac-12, but also the best part about playing in the Pac-12 is that you're going to have night in and night out tough volleyball. You're going to have to grind it out. Most of these players are volleyball junkies. All of high school, they've been in the gym. This is what they've wanted to do. This is the premier level for volleyball. And this is the fun part. The conference play is the fun part. It's fun being able to go up against the number 4 team in the country while you're trying to get your team and your program back on the map. And every school is different, but across the board, the level of volleyball that's played in the Pac-12 is extremely high.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and it's something you've experienced firsthand. You can't take a night off because of the level of competition in this conference.
It's tiring, but it's fun.
Liner now to serve. That one just goes wide.
And even though that this is a rivalry game and there is a lot of that intense battle of the Bay mentality, every game in the Pac-12 has a little bit of that, because there is some deep history and lots of conference matchups in years of playing.
Couldn't play there by Johnson, but the Cardinals side out.
I mean, UCLA used to be at the top of this conference every single year. So did USC, and that flux that changes all the time. But that doesn't mean that Oregon doesn't want to beat UCLA if they're down a year. It doesn't matter. Everybody wants a piece of it.
Baird now to serve. Back, big swing, nice kill for the California Golden Bears. Kayla Hayden came up with that one.
Kayla Hayden finding the floor in an unmatched block for Stanford. Rare.
Miner sets up Kipp. It's Doug. My goodness, kept in play by the Cardinal. They're met at the net, though. Big response from the Golden Bears. Analea Mader says, I don't think so.
Alia Rubin had to be able to keep that ball in play. She needed to find a way to let her team live to battle another day, especially after a momentum shift like that of keeping the ball alive.
Golden Bears now within 4. Big cross-court swing. Out of the back row. Kept alive. Rubin sends it way long.
Rubin struggling a little bit to find the floor and to find her touch right now. Cal looks like they're keying up on that.
Rubin with 3 kills just moments ago, hitting .250. Now back to serve. Nicely done. Swing out of the middle. Little meeting at the net, falls on the Golden Bears side, so it'll be a point Stanford. Going back to serve here, Elena Ogilvie. Hard serve off the net. Big swing from Lee. Kept alive by Ogilvie. Back set to Kip, who terminates, but it's out. Ends up going long. We saw a couple of points in the first set as well, but Stanford just missing by the smallest of margins. So Cal still very much in this, trailing by 3 here in set number 2. Disa to serve, puts it in play. Minor to Kip. Good dig. Lee off the block. Minor. What a nice little quick set.
I love how Cami Minor is finding Sammy Francis more often. That is going to be a connection that if that keeps happening and they're able to find each other in moments like that, that's going to be tough down the road for any team to go up against, especially once they really connect on that ball.
Kip now to serve. Now when looking at the Stanford offense, what is the speed that they are most successful at?
Well, in system, of course. They typically are running a faster offense. I mean, we got a rally on our hand right now.
This is insanity. I mean, these teams are just scrapping for every single ball. It's a .1 for the Cardinal, but it was not easy.
Yeah, they typically are running a faster offense, especially in system. That's where they want to keep the ball in a faster tempo. But finding their middles right now is really going to help alleviate some pressure off of their pins down the road, long-term, conference play. They're just going to be so hard to play against if they can get their middles going all the time.
Another rally underway. Lee, cross court. Nice dig, though, by Ogilvy. Ends up being called a double touch, so it's a point for the Golden Bears. They're still within 4.
Kevin Hamley not too happy about that call on Katie Baird. I will say the up rep has let a lot of calls go tonight, so I can see why he's a little frustrated with that, with him calling a double on that ball.
Analea Mayer sends it in. Touch over the block by Rubin. What a pancake by Mater.
Cal is absolutely scrapping for everything right now.
Rubin denied. What a block for the Golden Bears.
Cami Minor just set that ball a little too tight for Elia Rubin. And watch Cal as she presses over number 12, 22 in white. Saw that it was tight and got all over it.
There's a little miscue, but kept alive by the Cardinal. Then a miscommunication leads to the ball dropping. California Golden Bears point.
That is a situation that cannot happen for Cal. When Elia Rubin scrambles for that ball, kept it alive, and everybody looking at each other, that can't happen at a number 14.
Surprising to see that from a veteran team like this. You'd think because of how much they played together, those type of communication kinks would be worked out.
I completely agree with you. It is the first game. It is the first conference game, so some of that stuff can be a little bit of jitters. They're not on their home court, and Cal is applying a lot of pressure. Credit to Cal. They are not letting up. Chrissy is up on her feet, coaching, getting them fired up, showing that winning mentality that she's had her entire playing career, which is exciting. I mean, she's the youngest Pac-12 coach right now, and she is just showing how important their mentality is. No matter what skill level they have, no matter what kind of recruit they are, you can play in this game and you just got to go after it.
You touched on the fact that you played against Chrissy Jones Shunderword. Here's a look at some of the action shots from when she was an outside hitter at Washington. Mentioned she was an All-American, also an All-American in beach volleyball at Cal Poly. What was she like to play against?
She was, I mentioned this previously, she was an outside hitter for them, a middle hitter, and a right side. So every year it was like, okay, where is she going to be now? Like, what is she going to be doing? Is she going to be attacking from the back row, the front row? She was an integral part of that UW offense, and I feel fortunate enough to play against her, but I also feel fortunate enough to have beaten her, but her also beating me as well. It's gone both ways for sure. But she's awesome, and I'm really, really happy for her and hopeful for this Cal program, especially with a fighting mentality like her.
Overpass, joust. Little scramble here. Big swing met with the block, though. And you just saw a couple photos as well. Joan Shunderword also for 3 years post-grad played with the Association of Volleyball Professional Beach Volleyball Tour, also with Team USA and the International Volleyball Federation, World Beach Volleyball Tour, So brings in that professional level of experience that she can pass along to her players.
To be able to play all three attacking roles at this game, and then to be able to do it in the outdoor game as well, and have the ball control. She knows how to pass, she knows how to serve, she knows how to attack, she knows how to set up her teammates. As a coach, when you've played every single role, she understands the game so well. And that is what's showing up in these girls, is that each position is looking a lot more well coached than they've been in a while.
Well, she's done a good job coaching up this freshman, Lee. How about that kill?
Lee is finding the court. She's finding different angles. She's not hitting in the same spot. She is showing some veteran moves, and why she's been the Pac-12 Player of the Week as a freshman a couple times this season.
Quick little touch, sent back over. Kept alive. That time, what a block! The Golden Bears come up huge at the net.
This crowd is going wild for the Cal Bears right now.
Oh, what a block. Just fired up there was Ellie Ham. Saw the emotion, the rivalry matchup, bringing the fans out, bringing the excitement, the fierce competitiveness, and we have a very tight set number 2. Unfortunately, a service error is going to give set point to the Cardinal. This Golden Bears team, though, man, really putting up a fight here in set number 2. Just incredible to see that grit they've been showing, keeping every ball alive.
They're 11-0. They're undefeated. So they're showing why they've been undefeated in the offseason, or in the preseason.
Pringle sends in a difficult serve. Block sent back over. Cal keeps it in play. Coming across, blocked. Still alive. Little back set out of the back row is Merton. She's blocked. And that'll be a point for Stanford, and they take set number 2 here at Haas Pavilion. That time around, not so easy. The California Golden Bears scrapping together a number of huge rallies, able to keep it alive. Just unfortunately for the Golden Bears, couldn't quite close it out there at the end of set number 2. So Stanford takes set number 1, 25-18. They take the second, 25-22. Set number 3 coming up from Haas here in just a moment. A Pac-12 Bay Area rivalry matchup underway at Haas. The crowd fired up, an electric atmosphere. The 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal takes sets number 1 and 2, 25-18 and 25-22. But this Golden Bears team putting up quite the fight. Nicole and Kylan here with you. The freshman Maggie Lee, we talked about it early in this matchup, looks fearless, coming in with a chip on her shoulder, leads the team with 7 kills. What have you liked about her performance?
I've been really impressed with the angles that she's been finding, and I've also been really impressed with the off-speed shots, the change-ups that she's been pulling out of her repertoire, and also she's fearless at the net. She does not care who's in front of her, and that is a big block on Stanford's side.
Lee, by the way, ranked first among NCAA freshmen with 4.87 points per set, 26 across the entire NCAA. Love to see the expressions from her, too. She has been completely locked in throughout this matchup. Now, for the Cardinal, a player you mentioned you were very excited about watching was Sammy Francis. 7 kills on the match, hitting 500. How has she been so effective?
She's been up and available, that's one thing. They've been passing, for the most part, pretty well on Stanford's side, and they're able to get her in good situations. But what I'm most impressed with is that Cammie is trusting her and putting her in good situations as well. And Sammy's up, which that communication and that connection is absolutely priceless between a setter and a middle blocker.
And looking at the stats, you mentioned you were quite surprised. Stanford was able to take that second set, despite the fact that they were hitting, what, -27? I mean, how does this Cardinal team turn it around from here and get a little bit more efficient from what we just saw?
Number one, they got to communicate. That was a communication major errors on a lot of people's parts. I'm sure they're talking it over in the huddle right now. But if Cal can keep coming after it, we don't know what can happen in this third set.
Set number 3 coming up here in just a moment. A Pac-12 Bay Area rivalry matchup underway at Haas. The crowd fired up, an electric atmosphere. The 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal takes sets number 1 and 2, 25-18 and 25-22. But this Golden Bears team putting up quite the fight. Nicole and Kylan here with you. The freshman Maggie Lee, we talked about it early in this matchup, looks fearless, coming in with a chip on her shoulder, leads the team with 7 kills. What have you liked about her performance?
I've been really impressed with the angles that she's been finding, and I've also been really impressed with the off-speed shots, the change-ups that she's been pulling out of her repertoire, and also she's fearless at the net. She does not care who's in front of her, and that is a big block on Stanford's side.
Lee, by the way, ranked first among NCAA freshmen with 4.87 points per set, 26 across the entire NCAA. Love to see the expressions from her too. She has been completely locked in throughout this matchup. Now for the Cardinal, a player you mentioned you were very excited about watching was Sammy Francis, 7 kills on the match, hitting 500. How has she been so effective?
She's been up and available, that's one thing. They've been passing, for the most part, pretty well on Stanford's side, and they're able to get her in good situations. But what I'm most impressed with is that Cammie is trusting her and putting her in good situations as well. And Sammy's up, which that communication and that connection is absolutely priceless between a setter and a middle blocker.
And looking at the stats, you mentioned you were quite surprised. Stanford was able to take that second set, despite the fact that they were hitting, what, -27? I mean, how does this Cardinal team turn it around from here and get a little bit more efficient from what we just saw?
Number one, they got to communicate. That was a communication, major errors on a lot of people's parts. I'm sure they're talking it over in the huddle right now. But if Cal can keep coming after it, we don't know what can happen in this third set.
Set number 3 coming up here in just a moment. The big spike underway here at Haas Pavilion. The 4th-ranked Stanford Cardinal takes sets number 1 and 2. Number 3 about to begin. Anything could unfold here. The Golden Bears very close, really pushing it down the stretch in set number 2. Just couldn't quite close it out. They're going to get another chance here in set number 3. Ball put in play there. And it ends up being point for the Card.
Kendall Kipp bouncing back from that second set and getting a kill right away. Making sure everybody knows, I'm back, I'm fine, don't worry about it.
Like great players do.
Yeah.
Knows how to respond. Rubin back to the service line. Ends up falling. It's an ace for Leah Rubin. Serve and pass game has been essential for the Cardinal, but they've been very aggressive all season long from the service line. Not quite as many aces in this match this evening as we've seen at times.
Chrissy did say that every single day they are doing a lot of serve and pass, and one thing that's been very much a focus is their serving and very much their passing. She thinks that their passing and their defense is their strongest part of their game. And I would say that the defense has kept them in it tonight. And the serving.
Rubin back to the service line again. Stanford off to a 3-0 lead here in set number 3. It was a nice skill by Francis that won the last point. She has 8 on the match. Kept alive here by the Golden Bears. Oh, cheeky move there by Miner. She gets some high fives right away.
I love the hype that she receives from her teammates when she dumps the ball. They love it.
That was the first thing I looked at. You saw the huddle immediately coming in and everyone fired up. Rubin back to serve. Sends in a hard ball. Out of system, free ball over. Miner off to Baird, who is denied. The defense you just mentioned, Nicole, has come up big for the Golden Bears. They do it again.
One of the focuses of this week during practice was their blocking, and their blocking has been exceptional this week as well. They've been working on some new blocking moves, as Chrissy has said, but Chrissy's very smart. She knows that serving and passing and blocking are keys to the game in playing at this high of a level. So this team is just going to develop over and over and over throughout each game they play. They're just going to get better and better and better, which is exciting for Cal because they could really pick off some good teams, especially if you don't take them seriously. They're a whole new team now. They're a whole new team.
There was no blocking that last ball, though, from Kendall Kipp as Stanford now takes the 5-1 lead. She has 7 kills, 4 digs on the match. Out of the back row, Lee with some force.
Lee has got some fire to her. I love the way she's responding to her teammates, and they finally found her in an in-system back row attack instead of just using her when it wasn't necessary.
I love the conversation we were having with Stanford's head coach Kevin Hambley about some of the girls being nice, but you've got to have those players that have that dog in them.
Yeah, you did describe it that way.
It looks like Lee is one of those players that has that just little bit of an extra competitive edge.
Yeah, that competitive edge can get you a lot of points when you don't have the size that maybe some of these other girls have.
Hard swing by Kip, but a great dig by the Golden Bears. How about this rally? Baird touches it over the block. Big swing from Merton. Dig keeps it alive. And finally finding the floor of the Golden Bears, Michaela Hayden gets it done.
The defense from Cal is just keeping them in, and I love the way Mater is finding her middles. That has been a focus for her and her improvement with this offense. And the more you get these middles involved, the more these pin hitters get no one up. And when you have to go to them, they're able to take full swings and not have to go up against two blockers. So that's the thing, is if you can get these middles involved on either side, it just relieves so much pressure from the pins.
Mater been outstanding, 19th in the nation, with just under 11 assists per set. There's another setter, though, making her presence felt. Cammie Minor dumps it over.
It's a big part of her game, and she's always been attacking in the front row, and that's another weapon in the way that she attacks. You'd think by now, all these years, they'd be able to catch her and get her.
What about her shoulder and her body movement makes her so sneaky when she does that?
She's very deceptive. She keeps her right hand up like she's going to set the ball, and her left hand goes up at the same time, and as soon as at the very last minute, she takes her left hand and throws it down.
It's just incredible. No one can read her. Now here was a big point for Cal, though. Nice
like I
swing
said,
once again from Hayden.
Getting those middles involved is going to really open up the offense for hitters like Lee that need a little bit of a reprieve to not go up against two blocks every single time.
Kip
what a swing by Kip.
But what a dig. Baird touching over the block. Talmoy payout. Kept alive. Kip again off the block. Lee with some kind of touch. Rally still going. Another dig. Huge response there from Disa. Another dig. My goodness. Kip touches it over. Tamoe payout. And another one. Kip puts it down. But what a point.
What a point, what a rally. Defense on both sides. Kip ending up finishing it. Watch how high Kendall Kip gets over this block to get this ball almost on the floor. Cal's defense being exceptional. I mean, isn't volleyball just a really complicated game of keep the ball alive?
There's the overpass. Rubin puts it right back down. Keep the ball alive. Makes it sound so simple. Yet volleyball could not be more complex.
Yeah, you just gotta keep the ball alive, right? Keep the ball alive longer than the other team. When you break it down like that.
Right, when you make it sound like that. Baird now to serve.
Nice block.
Great block.
The very last second, Kendall Kip turns that ball back into the court. She is such an experienced blocker.
Kendall Kip getting it done. Quick break here from the Bay Area rivalry matchup. Set number 3, Stanford leads 9. Here inside a Haas Pavilion, set number 3 underway. The California Golden Bears looking to reset after trailing by 5. They called the timeout. Now it's Katie Baird back to serve for the Cardinal. Baird with the hard serve. Talme payout, blocked. Falls out though. The Golden Bears successful after the timeout. Tamoe payout now will go back to serve. It's been named to all tournament teams twice this season. Played in 50 sets last season before dealing with an injury. Big point again for the Golden Bears.
Really impressed with the serving of this Cal team and getting Stanford out of their rhythm.
Tamoe Pao back to serve again. Another hard serve. Touched over. Lee sends it over the block. Kip off the hands. What a dig by Disa. However, Cal can't quite come up with a point. They're met with a block there from Stanford.
An absolutely beautiful dig by Tara Dessa for Cal, but Kendall Kip at the very last second has a gorgeous block to finish the point.
Elena Ogilvie now back to the service line. Honolulu native. Back set. And Stanford can't keep it alive. Big kill for Cal on the slide. Michaela Hayden had a couple of really nice points here during this third set. She'll go out here.
Has been a good weapon that they haven't kept their eyes on, and they're leaving one up, and has been able to score for Cal.
Minor, quick set, earns the point for the Cardinals. Kendall Kip now goes back to serve. Kip with 8 kills, hitting .192 on the match. Service sent in. Little back set slide off the block, falls out.
A solid back set from Mater, putting number 9 in white in a good situation to score. The middle involvement on both these teams right now has been really solid.
Mater with the hard serve. Minor just touches it over. Big swing out of the back row from Merton. Lee from the back row. Oh, just terminates, but kept alive. Another big swing from Rubin. It falls. Lands on the Cardinal side. Just hit the antenna though, so Rubin now will go back to serve. Rubin 4 kills, 17 digs on the night. Gets the ace. Little touch over. Baird touches it over. Out of the back row, Taumei Pao, Kip with a dig. Another tip over the block. Merton, another tip over. Baird swings, flying towards the stands. The Golden Bears couldn't quite run it down. Leah Rubin with 3 aces goes back to serve again. Rubin now to serve, 5 kills on the night as well, hitting .263.
Oh, that looked like it might have been in.
Called just long, so it'll be a service error, and Cal gets the side out.
I'm shocked they aren't disputing that.
Golden Bears trail by 5. Freshman puts it in play. Nice serve. Forces Stanford to send a free ball over. A little bit of an overpass. Kept in play. Baird hammers it.
What an athletic play by Cami Meyer to push that ball on the outside to Katie Baird.
Stanford now with a 6-point lead here in set number 3 after taking 1 and 2. Anna Pringle now in to serve. Nicely done. Little overpass. Sent back down by Minor. Baird. Terminates. Kept alive. Free ball. Minor back set this time. Slide successful. That one put down by McKenna Vicini.
A very good time to put her behind the setter, especially given on a free ball. And McKenna Bacchini getting some more confidence behind the setter.
That's her 7th kill of the night. Kip touches it over. Big swing. Blocked though. Another block, but Stanford couldn't get it over. Big point for the Golden Bears. They trail by 6. Very much still battling though here in Haas.
They're not taking a point off. Cal is very much focused, trying to bridge the gap between 17 to 10.
Service error there by Kendall Jensen for the Golden Bears. He's been a service specialist for this side. Played in 75 sets over 26 matches last season. Was second on the team with 173 assists. But had 5 aces coming into this match. Now it's Minor. Sends it long. Golden Bears get the side out rather. Now it's going to be Sophia Johnson, the freshman, being called into action at the service line. Out of the back row is Baird, but she is blocked. Huge stop there for the Golden Bears.
Michaela Hayden is having quite the night tonight. Solid offense, great eyes on the block, tracking the hitters, getting a solid block. Really impressed with her performance so far.
Johnson sends it over. Kip off the block, too hard. Point for the Cardinal. Kendall Kip hitting just 185 going into that last rally there. But this team is so deep, something we talked with Coach Hambly about. They've got a multitude of weapons, and there's an ace.
What's crazy is that not all of them are even on tonight. They're all playing well. Stanford is doing a very good job of playing their game, but they're not all on fire right now. Each hitter has struggled a little bit tonight. And so to know when they are all on, that is going to be very scary for the team across the other side.
The thing is, at least for right now, they don't all have to be. They've been able to get wins even when some players are having an off night. And there's a look at Kevin Hambly, the head coach. We've talked a lot about Chrissy Jones-Shunderword, but he has done an impeccable job at Stanford in his 7th season here on the farm. He's 142-33 overall, 91-19 in the Pac-12. Also has a pair of national titles. So certainly just an impressive career. You seem to know Coach Hambly pretty well. What kind of coach is he?
He's a very intelligent coach. I told him on the phone the other day, he gave us a quote, and I said, Kevin, you are so quotable. Like, everything you say in the volleyball world is very special. And there are a couple coaches that I absolutely love, and he is one of them. He is so good at finding, ways to improve your game, but also take your game to the next level. And yes, he has the ability to recruit really high-level players at Stanford, but what he did at Illinois was amazing. And some of the players that he has trained that have ended up on our national team, he is such a solid coach in the volleyball world and extremely well respected, so intelligent. I mean, I could talk to him for hours about volleyball.
Two-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year. I love that he puts his glasses on as well. Looks very studious while he's studying his notes on the iPad.
Leaning into the Stanford prototype, right?
That's true. You got to be smart to attend Stanford, also to coach at Stanford, right?
Yep, exactly. And he fits that mold. Very intelligent himself, so he's done an excellent job with the Stanford program.
Both of these.
And he's got some style
schools
too with the kicks over there.
I saw that. Got the Nikes on.
Got the dunks on.
And the dunks are in. They're hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Touch over the block. Nice dig. Lee denied, but it goes out. So it's going to be a point for Cal. Big swing there from the freshman.
What a pickup. Again with the Cal defense, but at the very last second, the freshman finding the outside hand of Kendall Kip. Stanford receives in system, big swing
No digging that one up. Aaliyah Rubin just terminating with force.
A really quick set to the outside too. Aaliyah Rubin does a lot better when things are a little bit quicker on the outside for her. She's a little step faster than some of the other hitters on the Stanford side.
All Pac-12 and an all Pac-12 freshman team selection last season, and she continues to get better. Big side out.
I love her defense. Her offense is awesome. She can find the floor, open up different parts on the court against any defense, but her back row defense is so solid.
Disa serves. Big swing, but a nice dig by Disa. Blocked though for the Cardinal.
Talk about somebody that's been an impact player tonight is the libero for Cal, number 13, Tara Disa. She has been picking up tip after tip and dug an incredibly hard ball there from Kendall Kipp like it was nothing.
Really was incredibly hard hit. Now here's the Golden Bears trying to scramble outside the antenna, so it'll be a point for the Card. Disa, by the way, leads the Pac-12 with just under 4.7 digs per set. That's top 50 in the NCAA. Crossed 1,000 career digs and posted her first career double-double against Montana State earlier this season. She has continued to weather the storm that is this strong Stanford offense.
She was one of the first players that Chrissy talked about today on the phone about what their strength is. She said Tara Disa keeps us in these games. Our defense is so important, and she is all over the floor getting balls up in any situation. And her serve receive is tough too, so you can't play this game without passers.
Just saw it in action there in that last point. Her dig ended up setting up Lee. However, here we do have a service error. That one goes long, so it'll be a point for the Cardinal. They're now just 2 away from closing out the match. Aaliyah Rubin back to the service line, the player leading this team in aces. She's been difficult all night long. 3 aces so far. Rubin fires it, but it's long. Golden Bears stay alive here in set number 3. Now back to serve is Maggie Lee. Lee also brings in international experience, played in the U20 Chinese national team, was named the best outside hitter and 9th in the Chinese National Traditional Sports League. Off the block, huge moment for the Golden Bears. Incredible by Ellie Ham.
Set just needs to be a little bit higher for Sammy Francis, but a great block by Ellie Ham, finding that she was going to go cross court with that.
Ham has led the team in blocks throughout the season. Lee on the serve, and it falls in. It's an ace for the freshman Maggie Lee, and she's fired up.
Maggie Lee being fearless, even though they're 2 points away from winning this third set. She's going back there and she's just letting it rip.
Falls just on the line. Another hard hit ball. Baird gets it over the block. It is going to be a point for the Cardinal. Assume it would be a lift there. Match point now for the Stanford Cardinal. A hard-fought Bay Area rivalry matchup it's been. The Golden Bears have played well, but the Cardinal just too much to handle. A multitude of weapons as they look to close this one out. Lee out of the back row. Baird puts it down, and that'll do it. Fitting that Katie Baird, one of the leaders of this Stanford team, gets it done, and that's the set. 25-19, the final score in set number 3. The Cardinal take their Pac-12 opener.
Impressed with Stanford and how they handled some adversity when Cal came out and put a lot of pressure on them and was getting them out of system. Stanford was unfazed, especially in this Haas Pavilion. There are over 2,000 fans here tonight, so not an easy win for Stanford, and impressed with Cal and how they were able to keep the ball rolling throughout the game, but Stanford just too much with all the weapons on their side and all those seniors.
Stanford wins in straight sets, 25-18, 25-22, 25-19 the final. The Cardinal improved to 8-2 on the season. The Golden Bears are dealt their first loss of the season. They fall to 11-1. But certainly if you're Cal, what are some positives you can take away from this match?
Defense was huge. They kept them in the game the entire time. If they didn't have that defense, then potentially these scores would look a little bit different, but really proud of how they came out. Would take away the fearlessness and would take away serving from how tough they served against Stanford tonight. They're going to have an impressive year, especially from the last 2 years that they've been in this program, but the Cardinals looked excellent. They were looking like the #4 team in the country.
That'll do it here from Haas Pavilion on behalf of our entire Pac-12 Network crew. For Kylan and Nicole, thanks so much for joining us. Stanford sweeps the California Golden Bears in straight sets.